Nakba means catastrophe or disaster, but the English translation does not fully capture the sense of total loss that the Arabic word denotes. There is no other way to describe what happened to the Palestinian people in 1947-49, which left the majority destitute and stateless. In 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration. Promising a national home in Palestine for Jews, the declaration was drawn up before Britain had come into colonial possession of the land. It was drawn up without consultation with or consideration for Palestine's native population. It would have far-reaching consequences that are still with us today. None was greater than the Nakba, when Zionist forces began a campaign of ethnic cleansing that would eventually see hundreds of towns and villages destroyed, thousands killed, and hundreds of thousands dispossessed, dislodged, and exiled. It is impossible to overestimate the centrality of the Nakba in the Palestinian experience. Historically, Palestine was a mostly agricultural population, but it also boasted a number of significant cities with trade links to the rest of the region and beyond. There were the coastal cities of Jaffa, Haifa, and Gaza, the manufacturing and industrial cities of Nablus and Al-Khalil, the cultural and religious hub of Jerusalem, and the agricultural heartlands of the Galilee, Jenin, and the Jordan Valley. Palestine was a cultivated and cultured land long before the Zionist movement trained its sights on it. In 1939, the British colonial authorities clamped down on unchecked Jewish migration from Europe only after a 3-year Palestinian revolt that had been brutally suppressed. In 1947, the UN proposed a partition plan that would have left Palestinians with less than half the territory of historic Palestine. At the time, Jews constituted under a third of the total population and owned just 6% of the land. But it was Plan Dalet, the Zionist blueprint for the Nakba, that was ultimately implemented. This was a plan for military offensives across Palestine that included provisions for the transfer of the native population, openly discussed by Zionist leaders to ensure a Jewish majority on the land. The Nakba marked the wholesale disruption of the Palestinian people and their history. Massacres in villages such as Deir Yassin, Lifta, Tantura, and others terrorized the local population. Thousands were physically forced out, put on buses at gunpoint, or worse. The Lid Death March saw some 70,000 Palestinians expelled on foot from Lid and Ar-Ramle, with hundreds succumbing to thirst and fatigue on the way. By the end, between 750,000 to 1 million Palestinians, some 3/4 of the total population, were displaced. None were allowed to return. In 1950, Israel passed the Absentees Property Law that allowed the new state to seize the properties for all those who were forced to flee to neighboring states. Their dispossession was complete. Today, there are some 6 million refugees scattered around the region in camps under the administration of the UN's Relief and Works Agency. Their fates, like the fate of Palestine, remain unresolved. The Nakba is a grave injustice for which there has been no redress. It remains an open wound to this day, and it is still ongoing. Israel's never-ending settlement project in occupied territory continues to squeeze Palestinians off their land. There will be no resolution to the Palestine issue unless the issue of refugees is resolved in accordance with international law. International law is clear on the matter. All refugees have the right to return to their homes and receive compensation for their material losses. Only then can we begin to heal our collective generational trauma.